What's up, guys? It's Phil here from Tamed Waters. Bright and early in the morning. It's about 8 a.m., a little after 8 a.m. actually now. And I'm headed to the airport to pick up a South American import order, so I'm going to bring you guys along. During the pandemic, South American orders were super hard to get in. I think the only time I got South American fish was actually like pygmy cories from Asia, actually. So I've been waiting to get a nice South American order in for a while. It's not like my biggest one I've done, but it's a pretty nice size one, so I'll bring you guys along for that today. Let's get started. You know what I did forget is coffee, so I'm gonna stop and get some coffee quick before we head to the airport. We got the coffee like 25 minutes later because everyone and their whole entire family decided to get coffee on the same day, I guess. We're good to go now.
It's crazy, big badass ball. Wanted up north all the gold that I stole, along with some cash, even took the mayor's daughter. Now that there's kidnapped, but she was with it, so I brought her. Then got myself into a whole heap of trouble, double crossed by the law, so it's nobody to run to. Yeah, it's just me and my sawed-off shotgun. Outlaw, call him Leatherface. I'm headed for the west, heard they got a couple banks in.
Alright guys, we got a ton of boxes, I think like 8 or 10 of them, packed in the car. I ain't gonna show you what the boxes look like, but we'll unload them when we get back to the shop. Let's go.
Hard to make it by sundown. I figure that's enough time for me to get the whole rundown, so I continue my mission. It's getting dark, so now I'm watching for them damn engines. They like to catch it, then they rob and split. I be a root toot shooting damn fool, protecting my chips. All of a sudden, I heard somebody rumble in the bushes. Stop my horse, whoa, lady. Who in the bushes? You better speak out, or I'ma let my shotgun song sing out.
Who is this? Hope this ain't the law. Draw out the bushes with my sawed-off shotgun.
Come on out, right now I'm getting angry. Take a step back, cause it could get dangerous.
Please don't shoot us, just
What's up guys? We are back at the shop. Time to start unloading the truck. A couple of my employees were supposed to be here and they're kind of being lazy right now, so I guess I gotta unload all these boxes myself. Besides, that's alright, I need a workout today. Show you guys what's going on in a few seconds here. Just had to quick stop and show off this beauty. We got water hyacinth in last week. We don't keep them all in our store. We keep them, I keep them in my ponds at home, and then I bring like 10-15 plants at a time because they don't do as good in the store as I do outside, but like some people keep them on their plant in their tanks and they do fine, so you just gotta have the right setup, I guess. Anyway, look how beautiful this is. Beautiful flower. All right, I opened a few of the boxes, and I did, like as usual, most import orders, there's something I have to work on that like needs more attention than the others. And that would be the zebra otocinclus, which a lot of people have been waiting for some of those zebra otos. About half the batch came in actually kind of bad. I don't know what happened in the water, but it was pretty cloudy. So here, I'll show you what we got going on here. You can see I added some fresh water to their, well, I'm acclimating kind of slowly, but I added it to their container so they can get rid of some of that old dirty water, and I'll slowly take out some of the water out of here and add water from the tank to the point where it's almost the entire thing is the tank water. If you come in our store and you see a tank that looks like this, let me show you. See this beautiful algae, diatoms, I don't know what people call it. We purposely do that. So I told my employees not to clean a couple tanks because I had 2 types of otocinclus coming in. This will increase survival rates, especially during quarantine while I'm using all my meds. But these zebras did come in super rough. We'll see. I'll probably lose quite a few more out of this right here, but I'll do my best. They're looking a little better with some fresh water added to them. Their colors are coming back. Obviously that dude probably will not make it, but yeah, we'll see if we can get them eating that algae right away. All right, they've been acclimating for a little bit. Just let them in. Otocinclus have a very high metabolism. That dude's sucking on my finger, look at that. Isn't that cute? It's blurry, there we go. They have a high metabolism, so you want to get them fed right away. And those people that keep them at home and just, this is your algae eater, usually not enough unless you have a lot of algae in your tank. Usually you got to supplement some stuff. We like to throw zucchinis. I noticed they eat a lot of leaves, so if you can do oak leaves or almond leaves, those are great too. But you see the bottom of this tank? This is why I chose this tank for them. That'll be cleaned up tomorrow. As long as these like pale guys like this turn around and start looking a little better. These ones up on the wall look great though. They should turn around. I'm gonna probably put a Tetra in here with them and then quarantine both the species together. But yeah, this is our setup right now for the zebra otocinclus. All right, the next fish I chose to go in the same tank as the zebra otocinclus is the coral red pencilfish. If you're a fish lover, you know how spendy these pencilfish are, and you got to really be a fish lover to buy these because they're, like I said, they're spendy, but they end up super cool. Look up coral red pencilfish on Google, and you might be looking to grab some of these. It's a little investment, but you'll be happy with them, trust me. Hopefully they tolerate quarantine. I've had a couple batches that were pretty fragile. This one looks pretty good actually. We did get blackworms in this week. I know some people have been waiting. Elijah doing a good job separating out each batch into tubs, and then we rinse them for a good 40 minutes, all these worms. So we'll get on that right now. We got ice cold water coming through the sink as we speak. We just got marble hatchets in. The water looks pretty filthy, and they look like they're a little, you know, they need some air and fresh water, so I'm going to start doing that right now. These are hit or miss for me. They're really tough fish, honestly, to get really perfectly quarantined, so I usually keep them for a little over a week to 2 weeks. But I'll get that going right now. Alright, marble hatchets I got acclimated and put in their tank. As you can see, there's a few casualties. I haven't pulled out any yet. We'll see how they do. They're swimming a little erratic, which I don't like to see. So we'll see how they do right now. I already got some meds in the water. I got some wild caught cories here. These are supposed to be Julie eyes. There's a couple species that look almost exactly the same as this. I want to say Trillionatus and I don't know. I gotta find out. I forget all the names. Anyway, gills are a little pink, which means ammonia burn in the water, and the water was a little murky. So I'm acclimating. This is about 50% fresh water from the tank in there right now, so they look already a little bit better. These guys should do just fine. All right, we got some Apistos in, wild caught from Colombia. Not sure exactly what species, obviously super emaciated. I gotta figure them out real quick with some deworming and feeding them pretty heavily right away. Well, I mean, you don't want to go like get them too heavy right away, they'll get bloated. So you gotta get some food in their belly so that the meds work and pass through the worms or whatever. The Juliet cories are looking good though, already. Look at them, they're already searching for food. All right, we got some blue Tetras. Few losses on the bottom, as you can see. I mean, that's a long trip from South America, so I expect a few, but their water's pretty nasty. It smelled like straight ammonia when I opened it, so I'm gonna go get these guys in there pretty quick. You don't want to go too fast with Tetras, but you also don't want to go too slow. It's kind of a fine line. It's super hard, but here we go. Blue Tetras are starting to look quite blue already. It's been like not even 5 minutes. Pick out a few of the deads, and we'll get some medications in there, see how they do. What do you think might be going in this algae-filled tank? Take a guess. If you guessed otocinclus, you are correct. Very bad ammonia burns on these guys, so I'm going to get them all fixed up. Look at them go. So look at this tank right now. When I do a live video on Thursday, most likely, I'll come show this tank and watch the algae. See that pipe back there? Perfect. That's like free food for my fish. Anyway, like I just mentioned, you can tell they got a little ammonia burns going on. I'm going to put in a med. I won't share it with anyone. It's actually not even like a fish med. I'm going to put in a med that will help with their gills, which are burning right now. So that's one of my little secrets, but I don't even tell my employees that. These poor emaciated Apistos. I know you gotta purge your fish before sending out, but these guys just look straight skinny, so excited to get them fattened up. It's probably been about 6 minutes. Like I've been acclimating pretty quick these last couple bags, so it's been about 6-8 minutes since I put these in the tank. Look at these guys. Definitely some other species than what I ordered in here, I'm pretty sure, but I'll have to wait and see. Like that guy right there, almost looks like a Banshee or Inca. Can't remember if they come from Colombia or Peru. Anyway, I'm happy that they're eating right away. These are from the last import video. They're out of quarantine, but they're still in the quarantine section. They're looking great. Fully medicated them. I mean, they're looking awesome. We haven't had losses since the first week of having these guys, pretty much, and they look phenomenal. If you remember me mentioning that they can be endangered in the wild, so it's like really important to get these guys breeding in the hobby. So the more the merrier, as long as you know what you're doing. Blackwater tank is the best. Haven't had these in a long time. Not that they're super rare, but I do remember getting these as a kid at little local fish stores, and I don't bring them in as much as I probably should. They're so cool. The yellow bumblebee catfish. There is a few species that they're exported or imported into USA as yellow bumblebees. So I'll have to narrow down which species. Like that one right there with the yellow belly, that looks a little different. I don't know. But I'm excited to get these acclimating in quarantine. Just had to take another little clip real quick. You remember catching bullheads as a kid? When there's little swarms of them that go down the beach? This is what it looks like for me. Except for these are way cooler. Look at that gold guy. Ooh, I have to keep him. Alright, got some fresh water in their container. And hold on, I gotta switch hands real quick. They're going into a tank that already has quarantined fish. Unfortunately, I've mentioned this in the past, I got a small store, so I gotta do that every once in a while. So everybody gets re-quarantined a little bit. Pretty neat. There goes a yellow one. Keeping him. I call dibs. These, I'm surprised are still here. These are corridor armadas, I believe it's called, and they get to like the really high fin once they get a little more mature. Super cool if anyone wants some really cool corridors. Literally 3 seconds in the tank and they're already eating blackworms. It's awesome. Haven't had a more basic pleco in stock in a while, besides some of the bristle nose. So I brought in some clown plecos. I used to always have these in stock, which it's probably been like a good year since I brought them in. I don't know. I just get in weird trends of what I want to bring into the store. It's kind of fun, obviously. Like it's like Christmas every day when I get to do a fun order like this. They're going into a tank that's pretty much empty. There's a couple blotchy quarries left, so they're going to be quarantined right now. Alright, we got the clown plecos in. This is not the color that they will stay. It looks really cool actually, but they'll get even nicer color once they acclimate. I just plopped them in the tank right now. The last little clip while I was videotaping them, someone kind of interrupted at the front door, asking if we were open, which we are not, on Mondays through Wednesdays, so we can do orders like this, and so I can work at the children's hospital as well. Anyway, they're looking pretty good. Pretty obvious what we got here right now. These are wild baby arowanas. They are, we used to have them in stock all the time, but during the pandemic we kind of haven't had them in like a good 3 or 4 months. A lot of people have been asking for these because we sell these at a fantastic price. One of the best probably in the country. These ones, I order them from the same supplier. Sometimes they come in with those yolk sacs, sometimes they do not. They're a little more fragile with the yolk sacs, but some people like getting them like at that tiny baby size. Obviously some of them in here already used up their yolk sac, so we should be good to feed them some feeders and blackworms. Little dragons look cool as hell. Alright, I don't think I've ever had this species in. This is pretty cool. They're a type of Loricaria. I think the scientific name is actually Plana Loricaria. It starts with a P, I know that. Cryptodon or something like that. I brought in a few species of these before, but never this one, I don't think. They look cool, and we'll go find them a tank with probably a sandy bottom and see how they like that. Alright, I'm going to handle one of these beauties for you guys and put them in the tank. Look how long the streamers are on this. Look how beautiful that fish is. See the streamer? No, really long tail. Twig catfish are in, also known as Farlowella acus or acus, I don't know how to say it. We had these in right before the pandemic and they sold pretty good. I mean, we priced them very reasonable, so they sell pretty quickly after they get out of quarantine, and they're a pretty peaceful catfish. They all look really good except for one has some damage on him. I don't know if that guy will make it, but for the most part, they look. This bag looks pretty good. All right, got them in the tank. There was a couple casualties that I didn't really notice when I was showing you guys the container, so a couple losses, but not bad for this big of a batch. Almost completely forgot about these snowball plecos. I probably would have done them actually sooner if I hadn't forgot about these. But they're looking good. They should be alright. We'll get them in quarantine right now. Alright, I haven't had these in since right before the pandemic as well, probably about 4 or 5 months ago. These are ruby tetras. A couple casualties, as you can see. I'll pull those out. My buddy, actually, Nathan, who his wife used to own Terry Aquatics here in Minnesota, he just asked me for these like 3 days ago, but I wasn't sure what was coming in on my import order, so I didn't want to say I had ordered them. Super cool little nano South American fish, though. They turn really bright. Look up ruby tetra, or I can't think of the scientific name right now. I think I got it on the top of my head, but don't know how to say it really. But yeah, look up ruby tetra from South America. These end up looking real nice. Right next to them over here, these were pulled out of the quarantine section, even though we were selling in the quarantine section. I just didn't find a separate tank for them. But ember tetras, looking good. They're way brighter in person and when you get them in your home tank as well. And we got some red cobra guppies left as well. These are one of our cheaper guppies. Alright, we got the ruby tetras in their tank. There's a few other wild caught things in there. I think those are green neon tetras, I'm pretty sure. Or just normal cardinals or something. Anyway, the rubies are already coloring up. Problem with this tank is I like to quarantine catfish like plecos and the twig catfish differently than I do tetras. But I started running out of room, so I'm going to accommodate or switch things up and do it a little bit differently. So we'll see how this goes this week. Might be a disaster, might go well. Yet another type of catfish we got in. Like I said before, it's a big catfish week. I've never had this one in as well. Try not to get stung right now. But I think these are pseudoplatinus armo, I want to say. I was looking at Monster Fish Keepers and Planet Catfish. I was trying to find out what these are. Pretty cool either way. Not exactly sure how big they get, so I'm going to research that before I sell it to anyone, and I'll have to let them know ahead of time how big they get. Cool looking catfish though. Got them in their quarantine tank. They look good already. I almost got stung like crazy from them because they got caught in the net. As you guys probably know that they got spikes on the side with a little bit of venom like most catfish and corridors do. I don't know why no one in the hobby has made like a little rubber net yet that like is not actual netting, it's just rubber. I would buy a million of those. Anyway, circle Loricaria looking good. We got Loricaria parva, I believe the scientific name is, in stock. This is one of the cheaper whiptail style fish I bring in. Look at the cool patterns on them. Great tank mates with other fish. And like I said, very affordable price. So if you just want to add a cool little catfish to your community tank, this would be a great option. I've had some predator fish guys nagging on me a little bit to get some more predator fish in, so here we go. We got some yellowtail, I believe that's what they're called, barracuda, freshwater. Let's see if we can zoom in on their teeth. See that? Predator guys, here you go. Pretty rare, I guess, to get these in the USA. There's only a few people I've seen that have ever sold these in the USA. We'll get them quarantined up and ready for you guys. Put them in a different tank than I originally planned. This tank should be perfect for them. Not much else in here except for a couple quarries. But let's see if we can focus on the face. These guys are mean looking. Very skinny. We'll get them fattened up and quarantined, and we'll be ready in about a week. I was just walking around checking on the fish, and I got one more type of fish to quarantine or to unbox for you guys. But notice this otocinclus tank almost cleaned up already. Isn't that incredible? It's exactly why I do it. So if you see algae in our store, I get a little excited. That's what I'm looking for. I want algae in some of my tanks for this specific reason. Last but certainly not least on today's import order, Pyera. Another predator fish. I know everyone's been asking for predator fish, so we just showed you the barracudas. Check out these guys. Look up Pyera on Google. You might be a little freaked out. P-A-Y-A-R. Wait, P-A-Y-A-R-A. Yeah, Pyera. Sweet predator fish. Their teeth, actually, they got two huge, like vampire-style teeth. They actually go up into their head. I'm pretty sure on each side of their brain or something along those lines. When I researched back in the day, pretty cool fish. All right, that includes this South American import order. That was a fun one. I enjoyed that actually. South American fish are my true passion, and I haven't been able to bring those in a while. So here we go. We got them in. We'll quarantine them, and I'll end this video by showing you guys little video clips of all the fish we just got in. Here we go.
Ooh, oh yeah, oh, girl, me want to hold you, put me arms right around you. Can you give me the tightest hold me ever get seen in my life? Girl, me want to just squeeze you, put me thing right around you. Can you give me the tightest hold me ever get seen in my life? Oh, behind them try and me no care. Me take it anytime, anywhere. In the square, so me no care. Long as a woman, I will be there. Me want a girl ready to take care of me. Me want a girl wine for me really good. I made it feel it. Show me that you can girl. Girl, me want feel all you. Put me arms right around you. Girl, you give me the tightest grip me ever get seen in my life. Girl, me just want feel all you. Put me thing all around you. Girl, you give me the tightest hold me ever get seen in my life. Like a fast pipe on the boy, room, 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 room. Girl, on the back and she a boom, 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 boom. Give me the back of one and the fat cum, cum, cum. But the rappers then ask me, I get my boom, boom. Team them with the control. I move for her, she want in her soul. She said more fun, more and still she grown. And still be multiple, more got me what feel all, yeah. Put me arms right around, yeah. Girl, you give me the tightest hold me ever get seen in my life. Girl, me just want to hold you. Put me arms right around you. Girl, you give me the tightest hold me ever get seen in my life. Like a fast bike on the road, boom, 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 boom. Girl, on the back of the boom, boom. Give me the maga one night, the fat boom, boom. But I ramp and tell me I move to watch my boom.